Swag out there and boss. Look, is that bow tie paisley?
And welcome to another episode of the Sartorial and Geek podcast by Webster Style, where we talk about bow ties, comic books, and everything in between. I'm your host, Webster Style, the man, the voice, the fragrance. Coming back one more time, let's jump right into the download. Now, this week I had something all picked out, a free game that everybody can play, but then I found something else. Something else that, in this case, this week, it is on other platforms, PlayStation as well as Switch, I believe. But I'm talking specifically about Xbox because of the sale. Now, the Capcom Arcade series, Arcade Stadium and Arcade Second Stadium, are great nostalgia platforms for the older Capcom arcade games. Now, I believe each retail for about $34.99 and each come with about 10 or so games. Now, one of the things I love about them is that they are actually free downloads as well, and they come with a free game. So the original arcade comes with 1942, if I remember correctly, and the second one comes with, I forget, because it was a game I had never heard of before. But it allows you then to pretty much buy the games that you want. And in the case of Arcade Stadium 2, those games are typically only $1.99. Well, I bring this up today because right now, all of the games, at least on Xbox, are half price. So just 99 cents. So you're talking about Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Street Fighter Alpha 1, Street Fighter Alpha 2, Street Fighter Alpha 3, all the Darkstalkers series, Saturday Nights, Slam Masters. The list goes on and on. I ended up picking up all the Darkstalkers games, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, as well as Saturday Night, Slam Master, actually two of the Darkstalker games, not the Vampire Survivor, I think. So for getting 4 games, I paid less than $4 for all 4 of those games, and I am just having a ball, especially with the features of rewind and saves and everything that comes with this classic arcade setup. I'm really enjoying it, so I'm recommending you go out today, download Capcom Arcade Second Stadium. Even if you don't buy anything else, you can get a free game with it. Some easy achievements there as well, especially if you're on the Xbox. Probably some trophies on the PlayStation 2 that are very much similar, if not the exact same. I definitely recommend it. And right now, at all the games being half price, you can really just go in, buy what you want, and save a ton of dough. So again, that's my pick for the week, Capcom Arcade Second Stadium. All right, let's get into the short takes. I'll make them short this week. So first up, we had a brand new trailer for John Wick 4. I'm just super duper excited for this movie. And I've heard that this movie is pushing 3 hours, so they went all out with this last installment of John Wick. I can't wait. I'm going to be in the theater for it. I believe it's March 24th is when this drops. Next up, and I have to eat my words because I was just on trailer reaction with my man Brian Saff, with NRW, Nerds of the World, reacting to a couple of properties that were debuting with just debuted on Apple TV. And the night before, I was just saying Apple has not put out anything that would make me want to subscribe to their service, let alone use the 3 months free trial that I have, because right now I'm sitting on 3 months free from Game Pass perks. Then next day, they dropped Tetris. Tetris is pretty much the story of how they got this guy discovered Tetris and got it out of Russia into our grubby little hands with the Game Boy back in the late 80s or early 90s, if the Game Boy came out. Anyway, it looks absolutely fascinating and it looks totally different from anything that Apple has put out. One of the things that I have had an issue with the trailers and how they've been cut, from the television series to the movies, they all look the same. Regardless of what the story, if it's some sort of drama, they all look the same. There's all homogeneity with how they are presented to the audience with Apple TV Plus. And this, for me, this Tetris trailer. It is the first one that looks like it's something that would be coming to the theaters, because that's what I expected when the trailer started. I totally was blown away the fact that, oh, this is coming on Apple TV Plus. Whoa, I really have to see this. This looks interesting, and this is something that makes me want to subscribe to Apple TV Plus just to see Tetris by itself. And then last up is, well, we had Super Bowl. We talked about Flash and Ant-Man, last week before, or whatever the other trailers were. Really, it was Flash. Anyway, they also dropped a small snippet trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie, but they used the classic Super Mario Brothers rap from the Super Mario Brothers Super Show series, Captain Lou Albano, back in the late 80s and early 90s, and it was absolute gold. I cannot see this movie not making money. This movie should print money. This is going to appeal to so many people. I'm here for it. I love it. I can't wait for the Super Mario Bros. Movie to drop next month. Well, actually, drop in April. All right, so those are the short takes. Let's get into our soul review. That's right, we're checking out, ladies and gentlemen. We're trekking out. Star Trek is back. Picard is back. Picard Season 3. Now, if you've listened before, you know how critical I was of Season 2 and how Season 2 really just bored me to death. And so far, Season 3 is off to a very, very good start. There is something about Picard and Jonathan Frakes together. It is so much past the number one captain sort of dynamic. They're very much like, they're like a comedy team, and it's so great. It's so awesome to see. I'm enjoying the setup of the story. I think it boggles my mind why. I'm sorry, there are going to be spoilers for this review. If you haven't watched it, watch it. If you don't care about spoilers, keep going. Okay, let's continue. I don't understand, and I can't wait to see why Beverly hadn't spoken to anyone else from the Enterprise E crew in 20 years. Like, I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then with the revelation that she has another son, and you want to say, oh, this is the result of Beverly and Picard's love child, because there was heavy implications that Beverly and Picard tried to date toward the end, and it just didn't work out. But this guy looks so much older than 20. Like, there's no way that he could be, at least the actor that's playing him, I don't believe for a second he's 20 years old. But I don't see how he could be Picard and Beverly's love child. So I'm interested to see, how is this person her son? Is he really her biological son? Maybe he's adopted, and she adopted him during the course of whatever's happened to her in the past 20 years or so. I'm very interested to see what happens there, because a lot of the theories where maybe he is like that parting gift to Q, where he's actually Renee, his nephew, who died in Generations, who was the last of the Picard line. Maybe Q resurrected him. Maybe he's a clone that Beverly did using Picard's DNA. I don't know. I hope it's not that one. Personally speaking, that's after just season 1 alone with the whole Synthoids and the Golem, and that was enough for me. We don't need clones of Picard. I mean, we got the clones of Picard already. We don't need to do that storyline already. Like, come on now. That was Nemesis. We don't need any more clone stories with Picard as far as he is concerned. So I'm interested to see how this young man is related to Beverly for real. I don't think that he is her biological son. Of course, I'm not writing these stories. I found it interesting how Shar was a real asshole and really just shut them down. I loved how Seven knew something. Like, what's the real story here? And how they disobeyed orders and using Geordi's child, who's a pilot. Like, that couldn't have worked out better, but I liked, yes, it was a little coincidental, yes, but I liked how that story worked out. I liked how those things are going. And one of the things I saw beforehand, review-wise, talked about how whomever saw the first 3 episodes, like, oh, this could have been done in 1 episode. I'm enjoying the time it's taking. It's setting up these characters. It's setting up the stakes. It's setting up Shaw as a potential foil for the season before they bring him over. It sets up it increases and heightens the drama with Beverly's situation and the intrigue of what's really going on and who is after her. that would not be done if all that was condensed into one episode. So I'm really looking forward to what's going on here. And I'm also looking to see how everyone else is integrated into the fray. I'm especially looking to see, or interested to see, how lore plays into this, especially considering, at least from the trailers, it looks like Lore's in a Starfleet uniform at some point in time. So I'm like, that's really odd for Lore to be in a Starfleet uniform as if he's an officer. I'm curious to see how that plays out as well. I'm excited. They did a very good job with the first episode. In my opinion, it's one that has me excited for what happens with this. I love the fake out with Ravi, though. I love the fake out where you thought that maybe she'd fallen off the wagon and it was really part of her cover. I felt bad too for her putting the dots together and figuring out when it was too late to basically, and I'm assuming that Starfleet Academy or wherever was destroyed. I felt bad. I felt her pain, and I forget the actress's name, but I think it's Michelle Hurd. I'm not sure. I may be totally incorrect or totally right. Who knows? But she played that role out really well. You saw the anger in her face and the sadness of failing in her mission. Like, I felt that pain for Ravi's character. So I'm liking the seeds that was sown in episode 1. I hope that this is a good bellwether for how the season as a whole is going to go, because we started off halfway, not when we say halfway different. Season 1 started off okay and then it just fell miserably. Season 2, I think because I had those issues with season 1, I didn't give as much of a chance, and I'm glad I didn't, because it was, yeah, okay. But season 3, I'm a bit more optimistic for them not screwing up after this first episode. I'm excited to see what happens. And this is one thing I hope with Picard season 3, even with Discovery when it comes back. There are so many things they did right with Strange New Worlds. I hope they take a lot of the things they did right as far as storytelling. And yes, I know Strange New Worlds is a different animal, but they still, those aspects of storytelling and character development are things they could utilize in Picard, even for characters that we've literally known for someone like myself for 75% of my life. So I really hope they take those things to heart, and I really have high hopes for Picard. So that's my take on Picard season 3, episode 1. We're going to take a break and come back and talk some fragrance. Now, the fragrance of the week is one from a Black-owned brand that I just discovered, and that brand is All Things Essential Oils and More. And upon perusing their Instagram and their website, I found this fragrance called Two Kings. I'm like, what is Two Kings? Now, mind you, a lot of their oils and fragrances are inspired by other fragrances. So that made me even more interested. I'm like, okay, what is this inspired by? Because the name itself does not give you any sort of inclination as to which direction to go. So I reached out to the owner and I asked, hey, I'm thinking about featuring this fragrance on the podcast, and I wanted to know, what were the notes? Well, they pretty much let me know they're not so much a note breakdown sort of person, but they're inspired by the sense of fragrances. So this fragrance, Two Kings, is described as a cross between Creed Aventus and Baccarat Rouge 540. So I'm really curious to see what this smells like. And actually I ordered a sample of this myself, or a bottle, because this runs for a 30 ml bottle will come to you at the price of just $15. So after everything's said and done, it was about $20 to get it shipped to me, which is well worth it in my opinion, especially since they deal mostly in oil. So I'm expecting a really nice concentration and duration, but I'm really looking forward to see if you get that sort of sweetness of the Baccarat Rouge compared to or combined with more of a smoky Aventus or fruity Aventus. So with that, I'm very interested to see. It is described as a lightweight, airy, and clean scent. So I am really looking forward to see what this fragrance smells like once I get my hands on it in the next few days. Presently today, it is President's Day, so nothing's going out. So it's supposed to be shipped out tomorrow. So hopefully I'll get it by the end of the week and I'll be able to talk about it on next week's podcast. Now, today I'm wearing another fragrance or fragranced item from another Black-owned company. In this case, it is from A.T.L Perfume Chick, and this is a company that deals with scented shea butters. So in this case, I am wearing an Oud Wood inspired or scented shea butter, which is very strong, very potent. From a Oud Wood perspective, I have gotten about, I don't know, 5 hours of really good scent from the oud part before I really just smell the shea butter. I really enjoyed it. Actually, I saw it on Saturday, smelled it, and came back on Sunday because it was just lingering in my mind. I'm like, it's so good. And for just $15, it was a really good deal. So I'm like, let me pick it up. I am looking forward to layering this, especially with a Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme or a couple other fragrances that have a really nice but subtle oud scent to them. With this shea butter, I get a lot of the oud. I get more of the spice, not so much of the amber and a couple other notes that you'll find in the real Oud Wood fragrance. But I really like this and enjoyed this fragrance, and not fragrance, excuse me, shea butter. And I'm actually probably gonna go back and get some more. They had a Bleu de Chanel one which smelled absolutely like Bleu de Chanel, even a Sauvage one which I might pick up just because since I don't have a real Sauvage bottle laying around, I may pick that one up. And for $15, you really can't go wrong with the size you get and the quality as well. So that's what I'm wearing today, and that is an Oud Wood inspired shea butter from A.T.L Perfume Chick. As we come to the close of another episode, don't forget there are ways you can support outside of just listening, which I appreciate greatly. However, you can also utilize our discount code to Pete and Pedro. Now, I have talked about Pete and Pedro before. I've talked to you about how I love their fragrances, how I really love Villain, and I have to stop from wearing, especially when it's colder out here. But they have a variety of products outside of their fragrances, which you can take a look at and try out and get 10% off your first purchase with the discount code EHawks10 or the link in the show notes. Also, you can become a patron either at the associate producer level, or executive producer level at $1, $3, and $5 monthly of your choice. You'll get exclusive content and early access to this very podcast. And of course, you can always try W. W is an energy drink like no other, and you can get 10% off your first purchase by using the code WebsterMan or the link in the show notes. Now, where else can you find me? Of course, you can find me every week talking with my man Brian Saff over at the NRW Checkpoint, where we talk about the latest and greatest releases in video games. You can also find me every so often with Kuya P and Sean Mongold talking about wrestling at the Kayfabe Baby, the NRW Ring Generals podcast. Right now we're about bi-weekly, but we're getting it on track. We got 2 episodes done, so check them out. And then you can also find me on various social media platforms. On Instagram, you can find me at Webster and at Sotoyo Geek for the show itself. You can find me on Twitter at Webster, and of course you can find me on TikTok at _Webster. Anything and everything that is Webster can be found at websterstyle.com. And hey, drop me an email, info@websterstylemagazine.com. Thank you again for joining. Thank you for your listening ear. Remember, stay safe out there and be blessed.
Tree Green Tuesday. Had to be Bow Tie Thursday. Had to be White Wednesday. I know last time. Well, I wore polka dot. You didn't wear.
Miss Million, them heels killing them, but I'm sure it's a Thursday. Bow tie Thursday, pasta cream in your heels, looking sharp, babe. Acting like you don't know the rules up in the workplace. Must I remind you it was till on your birthday? Don't get me wrong, I think we killed in the birthdays. And you picked the hella fit for the church day. Let's say you picked the wrist game poet. Now you got the floor filled with bras that you purchase. Pick a color scheme that can match your berry corset. Get the berry cream. Berry cream, get the berry cream, we can make a little scene. Cause no one man should have all that styling. Take it off, clothes on the floor piling. No one girl should fit it all in them jeans. So take it up and let me see what's under them seams. Cause no one man should have all that styling. Take it off, clothes on the floor piling. No one girl should fit it all in them jeans. So take it up and let me see what's under them seams. Let's see what it seems. If it is what it seems. Do it again. Chicks be looking thick leggings, you know what I mean? I don't know. Take a hint though, don't try to get me at a moment. Coke mint though, smoking hot, rocking this pin so thin. Tie hairline, looking like a stint so pimp. No lie, I'm sharper than a utensil. Instrumental, plain dang, homie. I was hoping we could walk out with that bang bang, honey. See them plain James honey, them lame frames funny. We tell it fit it crazy like that thing came on me. Hey, mommy, look a lady, main thing, want me on the scene. Fit popping like a main vein, running blood color lips, smashing with the hang. Clutch money, holding bag, kinda funny. Can you tell me what's the price tag of the Range Rover? Hang on me when we walking, looking Gucci like that thing sprayed on me. Walking with a limp like an ankle sprained on me. Yeah, I rock the cardigan. She don't really want me because one man should have all that styling. Take it off, clothes on the floor, paddling. No one girl should fit it all in them jeans. So take it off and let me see what's under them seams. No one man should have all that styling. Take it off, clothes on the floor, paddling. No one girl should fit it all in them jeans. So take it off and let me see what's under them seams. Hey, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Aim off and on the middle alone. Aim off and on the middle alone. Cause no one man should have all that styling. Take it off, clothes on the floor, piling. No one girl should fit it all in them jeans. So take it off and let me see what's under them seams.
Oh, you wanted to? Oh, I completely read that wrong.